welcome to All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host. Today, I'm delighted to have as my guest Sheng Thao, who is running for the mayor of Oakland. Sheng, welcome to All About Community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harris.
Now, tell me, why are you running for mayor of Oakland? I believe you've been on council for about 4 years, and now you want to be mayor. Why?
Well, it's not, it's very clear that there's multiple different crises that are happening. And first and foremost, I am not the status quo. I do not have.
What do you mean you're not the status quo?
I am not.
That begs the question. What do you mean?
No, absolutely. I'm not the status quo in the sense that I do not have the endorsement or support of our current leadership, our current mayor, because I do feel like there's a lot of things that we could have done better. And for me, it's all about lifting the whole community from the bottom. And when we do that, we know that we lift all Oaklanders. It's also about the fact that the mayor is an executive position, a CEO position of the whole city. So we're going to need a leader who has strong connections at the state level and at the federal level to ensure that we get more resources to come to Oakland.
Are you saying the current mayor doesn't have those qualities?
No, I'm not saying that. I think that she does have those connections. She's termed out. And so I'm saying that the next leader will need those kinds of relationships. And I am the only candidate who has support from Speaker Anthony Rendon, many other assembly members, congresspeople, and senators, because on my term as council member, I actually went and became part of the leadership team with the League of California Cities. And that's how I built those relationships.
And with the League of California Cities, how will that impact Oakland?
Well, it's through the relationships that I've built. A perfect example of that is that just recently, in this past state's budget, I was able to go and fight for $2 million directly to Deep East Oakland parks, because we know that Deep East Oakland parks have been underserved, overlooked. And for me, when we talk about public safety, we have to talk about how do we actually get money and resources to directly infuse our communities to ensure that they have the very basics like safe and accessible public infrastructure.
Now, assuming you are elected mayor, what will be your number one priority?
It's going to be public safety. Right after that is, on the very same token, actually, is affordable housing and making sure that we take care of our unhoused community.
All right, public safety. What do you intend to do to make the public safer?
So I've actually am the council member who has actually poured the most amount of funding into public safety. And I'm talking about not only in regards to response with OPD, but also violence prevention and violence interrupters. We know that we need both. It's not one or the other. And because of my 10 years of experience at City Hall, I was a staffer and then now I'm a council member, I understand how it works. Bureaucracy in government, it's a beast. And it's very unique. You can't operate it like it's a business, like a private business. And so because of my strong understanding of it, I've been able to actually, as council member, I am the only mayoral candidate to have voted for the violence prevention, violence interrupters, because we need that. And then also, I was able to pass the 5th, 6th, 7th police academies because we have a lot of vacancies in OPD.
And why do we have so many vacancies when the need for police officers is so great?
Well, a lot of our officers are leaving the city right after they get trained. We train our officers really well.
You train them to leave the city?
No, absolutely. We try to train them to stay, and this is
but
why
they leave.
Exactly.
Why do they leave?
Well, because we are hemorrhaging officer because other jurisdiction, they actually don't run police academies. It costs about $4 million to run a police academy. So what they do is they'll come and dangle $50,000 as a bonus for officers to go to their jurisdiction, and they don't have to train them. And so then officers see that as an incentive, and they leave. And so what I have done is that understanding that there's hemorrhaging, I actually rolled up my sleeves, worked with the HR director and the city administrator to ensure, and the chief, to ensure that we have incentives, not only for officers, but for our firefighters and also our 911 dispatcher as well, because we have vacancies in all of those departments. And we are seeing for the first time ever, Chief Armstrong has told me that for the first time in decades, we're seeing that OPD officers, good OPD officers, are coming back to the city of Oakland, filling in those vacancies.
You mean they leaving and then they're coming back?
They're coming back. They're coming back because there is an incentive for them to come back.
What is the incentive to come back?
The incentive to come back is that you would get a smaller bonus, but instead of waiting 5 years for a retention bonus, you know, it looks like it's 3 years, and then there's like different levels that you can get through that process as well. We know that nationwide there's a shortage in officers, and so we have to make sure that we're competitive in that regard to make sure that we keep our officers here.
Now, are the salaries competitive to other jurisdictions, which could be a problem if they are not?
Well, it's very competitive. Actually, Oakland pays officers really well. It's top 5 in the nation. And so a part of that too is that we have to ensure that we are recruiting officers from Oakland. It is always the best to recruit officers that are from Oakland, who understands our culture, who understand who we are.
You mean
and
officers who live in Oakland?
will live in Oakland, but from Oakland as well, right? Because you can't control where people move to, but if they say grew up here in Oakland, but decide that as an officer they want to live.
So they have a deep connection to Oakland.
There you go.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to take a break, but before we do, I just want to say this, that it's so critical that we have adequate police officers patrolling the streets of Oakland so that we can feel safe. Safety is very important. Don't touch that remote. We will be right back with Councilperson Sheng Thao in All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host.